Hello and welcome to another episode of Toya Talks Wrestling. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Raw, the home show for WrestleMania, April 14th, 2025. I wasn't even going to make a video today because one, there wasn't really much that went on, and two, I'm just extremely tired. Just emotionally, physically, mentally, just tired. Anyways, but I'm here, so let's just get it done. Anyways, not much happened here. There's a bunch of a lot of promos, a lot of video vignettes. Let's start with ladies. There was a vignette from all three ladies of this match for the women's world title. Bianca Belair had a video vignette basically saying that how she's not in the right frame of mind, how things have changed, how everything she's done has been truthful, and she's been just telling the truth, and she hopes that, people would teach their kids about, dealing with the truth and everything else like that. Rhea Ripley was basically about how Bianca Belair is making Rhea look like the bad guy and everything else, and how she's going to take back what's hers. She always gets back to everything that she loves, and how Io Sky would never have been champion if it wasn't for Io, pulling on her heartstrings and stuff like that. And Io was basically saying that she's tired of being the odd woman out, and that she'd pay attention to her. So there were three great video vignettes that I enjoyed, and yeah, this should be an interesting match. I believe their match is on Sunday, so it should be interesting. We'll talk about that later on. Anyways, we had a match with Bayley versus Liv Morgan. This was actually a pretty good, decent match. I really enjoyed it. What happened towards the end, you had Bayley do the Bayley to belly to Liv Morgan and was about to pin her. And then Raquel Rodriguez, because she was out there obviously, put the Liv's foot on the rope, so then the count got broke. And then Lyra Valkyria attacks Raquel, and then Raquel power bombs Lyra on the outside of the ring, and then tries to go up onto the apron, and then Bayley pretty much got rid of Raquel. Liv Morgan does the backstabber, and I'm thinking, oh shit, she's gonna win again due to help. Anyway, so during this time when Liv Morgan was about to do Oblivion, because when she did the backstabber to Bayley pretty much ended up near the ropes. She's about to do Oblivion, but Lyra had held Bayley towards the rope. Liv did the Oblivion. She just pretty much fucked herself over. Bayley does the roll-up pin, and 1, 2, 3, Bayley beats Liv Morgan. I think their match is also on Sunday as well, so we'll see what happens there. But it was a good match. I really enjoyed that match. We had another video vignette from the War Raiders. They are going to go up against New Day for the titles at WrestleMania. They said something. They talked about how the New Day tried to be cheap and try to go after, try to put them on the shelves and get in their careers, and that now it's war. And one of the interviewers interviewed the New Day, basically saying, well, we've been in war with everybody for years, and we've been the best tag team titles, blah blah blah, tag teams in the world, and all this other stuff and everything else. Sure, whatever. Anyways, they have their title. I think their match is on Saturday, so again, talk about that later. Oh, Gunther has started the show. Gunther was supposed to have an interview with Michael Cole later on in the night, but Gunther looked pissed, so he started the interview a little bit early. Gunther had a great promo basically telling anybody who supports Jey Uso, screw them, screw Michael Cole's questions, Gunther loves bathing in Jimmy's blood. Gunther said that people say that he has no control, and Gunther said he has all the control, because if he didn't have any control, it would be both Jay and Jimmy swimming in Jimmy's blood and everything else. And he talks about how Jay is full of crap, that Jay is scared of him and everything else, and that the Monday after WrestleMania, he's going to call his mom and then say that he's still the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a great promo. His anger and the feud, that everything that Gunther was doing was great and amazing. He was getting like the heel boos and everything else was fantastic. Then later on, you had Jey Uso out there as well, and he did a little bit promo. I don't really think it was necessary for him to do a promo, but since that they were in Sacramento yesterday, and that's where Jay's from, I guess they put him out there because, you know, it's his hometown and everything else like that. But I didn't really think it was necessary, because I thought what Jay said last week was fine, but I guess I can understand why they brought him out. We had a match between Rey Mysterio and one of the Creed brothers, Julius. You had LWO out there, and you had American Made out there. The other Creed brother, whoever his name is, I keep forgetting. Gable and Ivy Niles. And eventually, both the American Made and LWO both got kicked out of ringside because they both started interfering. The referee said everyone's out. So then you just had Julius and Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio ends up winning the match, and then you have El Grande Americano attacked Rey Mysterio. He had the little metal thing in his mask, the loaded mask, and he tried doing headbutts and everything else like that, and flying off the top rope and headbutting him like that as well. And he got rid of also LWO tried to help, but they got rid of LWO as well. So and then he ended up saying gracias and everything else. So he had the match with Rey Mysterio. I believe that is on Sunday. I think it's on Sunday. I can't remember. I have to go look. But yeah, should be interesting. Again, I think it should be mask versus match on that match. But I'll talk more about that later. With Tim, Braun Breaker had an interview backstage, but it didn't last long because he got jumped by the Judgment Day's Finn, Dominic, and Carlito. And then Finn had a match with Penta later, or like right after actually, and that ended up getting disqualified because Braun Breaker pretty much attacked Finn. And well, Carlito was smart this time at least, because he remembered, and he ended up hiding himself. He goes into the ring, and he hides underneath, and goes outside the ring, and he hides underneath the announce table. So at least he's smart this time. Braun Breaker ends up attacking Finn Balor, and then Dominic and Carlito, I guess Carlito comes out from the hiding place, and he starts going after, they start going after Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker ends up spearing both of them at the same time. And then he tries to spin Penta, but Penta, caught him with a super kick and everything else. And you have basically Penta standing tall while everyone else was out, and Finn Balor is outside of the ring standing in the ramp. So, it's going to be an interesting 4-way, and I believe that match is on Sunday as well. So then the last thing I want to talk about would be Roman, Seth, Punk, and Paul Heyman. During the duration of the show, they show clips of Paul Heyman waiting for Roman Reigns backstage. At one point, you had a backstage segment where Punk goes up to Heyman. He's like, "Hey, you look stressed, right?" And Paul didn't say anything. He was just like, Paul and his facial expressions and stuff like that. And CM Punk is like, "Look at my eyes. What do you see?" And Paul Heyman's like, "A cult of personality?" And I'm like, that's what I was thinking. Anyways, a little bit of a joke and everything else, a little bit of comedy there. And he's like basically telling, Punk is basically telling Heyman, like, you know what, it's gonna be alright, don't worry about it, everything's gonna be fine. And he's giving him a hug and everything like that. As they're talking, there's an SUV pulling up, and out comes Roman Reigns out of the SUV, and he looks at Paul and Punk, and he looks disgusted, and he keeps walking, right, like shaking his head like, I can't believe he's doing this, right? So he goes up and he walks to Gorilla backstage, Gorilla stage ring, right? He tells the Sacramento crowd to acknowledge him, and they do. And he's like, you know, he tells Sacramento, like, Sacramento, you love your tribal chief, you will not betray your tribal chief. Unlike some people who would betray their tribal chief. It said, Sacramento, any guesses on who would betray their tribal chief? And people are like yelling, Paul Heyman, Paul Heyman. And then Roman Reigns is like, wise man, why would you do such a thing? Why would you betray your tribal chief? And the crowd is shouting, you fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up. And you know, they're trying to bleep it. I'm just like, stop bleeping. For fuck's sakes. Stop bleeping, Netflix or WWE, actually, not Netflix. I'm blaming WWE. WWE, stop bleeping. Okay? Stop it. I paid too much fucking money for Netflix to watch fucking Raw on for you to bleep the shit. Stop bleeping the fucking shit. Okay? Anyways, Paul Heyman is like, I am not betraying you. I am returning a favor that I owed. Roman Reigns is like, he scoffs and he's like, we don't do favors. We just take what we want and everything else like that. Basically saying like, why am I being punished for the stupid decision because you wanted to do someone a favor? I didn't ask CM Punk to help me. You did. Why am I being punished for your stupid shit? Right? Basically, it's like, I don't know favors. And Paul Heyman looked surprised and he was about to say something, and then that's when Seth Rollins comes out. And Roman Reigns had to look like, man, every fucking time I'm trying to talk to somebody, this motherfucker shows up. That's the look I saw on Roman's face. Like, yeah, no, that's pretty much it. He's a thorn in your fucking side. You gotta deal with it. It is what it is, Roman. It is what it is. Anyways, Seth Rollins said a lot. I don't remember all he said. Basically, he was telling like Roman, hey man, you know, he not only did betray you, he chose to betray you. He chose to be on Punk's side. Like, yeah, maybe owe him a favor, but he didn't have to do it. You know, favors ain't like necessary. You know, they're not like mandatory or anything like that. He could have chose to say, no, I'm not going to do the favor and everything else like that. But no, he chose and everything else. Kind of basically trying to further the wedge, I guess, between Paul and Roman right now and everything else and all this other stuff. They're trying to get into Roman's head and all this other stuff. Like, I mean, he said a lot of good stuff. I just don't remember everything because he said a lot. And like I said, I'm tired. Anyways, it was a great thing what he said. Roman Reigns ended up talking to Paul and being like, you know what? I hate to say this, but you know, he's right. Referring to what Rollins had said, right? You've made your choice and I've made my choice. And he starts attacking Seth Rollins and pretty much attacks Seth Rollins. I think he speared him and throws him out the ring. And Paul Heyman's all happy. He's like, thank you, my tribal chief. He goes, that was great. That was fantastic. Then Roman ends up shoving Paul Heyman towards the ground. And towards the mat, I should say, rather. And Punk comes out, and Punk and Roman ends up fighting each other. And where it ended up, where Punk gets speared by Roman. And Roman was like talking shit to Punk, and then someone had a phone call from 2014. By the way, let me just say this, right? let me tell you what Rollins was wearing. So Rollins was wearing kind of Shield-like attire. He had combat boots. He had on like the cargo pants things or whatever they wore, and then he had like the Shield vest but leather. Anyways, like I was saying, 2014 called, and he's like, and they're like, hey Seth, and Seth is like, yo, what's up 2014? I'm gonna need you to get that chair that you did on Roman. You remember that chair shot? Yeah, I remember that chair shot. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to do it right here, right now. Right, yeah. Right, when you go to tonight on Raw, I'm gonna need you to do that chair shot. Oh yeah, no problem. So anyway, Seth Rollins, his Roman Reigns in the back with the chair. Shades of 2014. Was beautiful. It was wonderful. Then he curb stomped Roman Reigns, and then turned around with the chair in hand and stares down Paul Heyman as Paul Heyman is cowering in the corner of the ring. And that's the end of the show. That was the end of it. Yeah, I mean, it was some good parts, but most of it was just promos. There was some other stuff I don't fucking remember. There was a lot of stuff that they replay, like they replay what happened with like the title with the women and Beth and Punk and just a bunch of stuff. Anyways, it was okay show. It was an okay show, but yeah. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. I don't know if I'm looking forward to WrestleMania because I just want it to be over with, or I'm looking forward to WrestleMania because even though I'm not as excited as I was last year, I'm hoping that maybe it is going to be one of those like, wow, okay, was not expecting that kind of WrestleMania. It was better than I thought. I'm hoping that's the kind of results that we get from WrestleMania, because as of right now, like, I am not getting that vibe, but like I said, I'm trying to be optimistic and I'm not gonna say anything to after the fact, but I want to go in positive, because you know, if you just think negative, you're just gonna have negative results. So I'm being on positive and my positive side. Let me just say this right now. I am not going to do a SmackDown review. Only because, well, WrestleMania is on Saturday and I usually do my reviews on Saturdays. So I probably won't do it then. But if it's a good show and I like it, I might do something for Monday. Maybe. But I'm going to tell you right now, more than likely, I'm not going to do a review. If I do anything, I might just do a post. So, be on the lookout for that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget, I did post a video not dealing with wrestling, on my top 5 favorite video games of all time. I would appreciate it if you would go and watch that. Maybe give it a little bit of love if you can. That'd be great. And I will see you on Thursday and Friday, because me and Tim have WrestleMania for night 1 and night 2. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Okay, bye.